What is going on, everyone? It's another episode of the ACK Spotlight series. Y'all know the drill at this point is it's just every week we got a new artist on here. Doesn't matter if we're going from rap to pop, we're doing a little bit of country. I mean, because you guys know I'm a country boy at heart. But today I have Eric Bowden here. Eric, what's going on, man? How are you?
Hey, how's it going? I'm doing well. How are you?
And not too bad, just enjoying the day. Nice Saturday off from work today. Usually don't get those off too many times, but just enjoying it while I can.
Hear that? Yeah, I'm doing the same.
Yeah, no, it's been crazy. Work's been crazy. A lot of new music coming out from me, and just really pumping through these interviews just to get more exposure for artists. Because at the end of the day, that's what it's all about for me. If I can go out of my way just to talk with someone about their story through music and just help them get more exposure, that's just what it's all about for me, and that's what this whole spotlight series is about.
Yeah, I respect that, man. I'm excited.
Yeah, no, I'm excited to have you on. I'm excited to hear your story through music. So, kind of just getting into the first question is I always start with the basic of basics. And it's just how did you get into music? Like, where did the whole singing and playing, like, just how did everything come about for you music wise?
All right. Yeah. So, as I was growing up, as everyone does, they listen to music. And I'd say probably in the car, my dad would just always have country on. And I didn't really like even categorize music as anything when I was growing up, but that was the music I listened to. And then, I listened to a lot of rap going through high school and stuff, like Childish and J. Cole and Drake. And as I got older, country, I was in the Marines for 4 years, and everyone there that I worked with was just country, country, country. So we would just scream that stuff all the time. And that's kind of when I fell in love with it. It was a good time,
Yeah.
definitely.
No, that's awesome. I mean, I know it's always cliche to say this, but obviously I didn't realize you were even in the Marines. So, but obviously I know it's cliche to say this, but thank you for your service. Obviously, just have to put that out there and say that just to always support. I have a good buddy of mine who's actually stationed out in San Diego. He's in the Marines, so he's been there just a little after we got out of high school in 2015. So, always just have to throw that out there.
Well, thanks for the support. Yeah,
No, of
that's
course.
nice of you to say.
No, of course. But it's always just cool to hear people's backstory and because like for me, like I only started a few years ago, but then there's people that started when they were super young singing, like they were singing when they were born. And it's just crazy to always hear that kind of stuff. And I always love talking with country artists because people know that because that's what I was born and raised on. Just that 90s, early 2000s country is really what got me into the whole singing, songwriting, and just stuff like that because the storytelling aspect is just so unique and so fascinating. And probably when I ask this next question, we're probably going to have a lot of similar inspirations when it comes to writing music and just playing music. So my question kind of is who are some artists like in the business that you look up to when it comes to singing and songwriting?
So I would say, well, what got me into country when I was able to even recognize an artist's name, Chris Young. He was the guy that like just made me fall in love with it. He just has a crazy passion when he sings, and obviously his voice is amazing. And he really got me into listening to it like every single day. And then which is this is kind of cliche, but like Luke Combs, as I kept listening, he became a huge inspiration for me because he didn't pick up a guitar till he was 21, and I'm 22. So when I picked up a guitar last year for the first time, really, I had one, but I didn't really play it. And I started taking it seriously last year. So I was 21, just like him. He was a huge singer throughout high school. He was in choir and all that. I was not, but I find that kind of comforting knowing that someone as big as him, he's like 31, I think, but someone as big as him picked up a guitar at 21, just like me. So that's kind of reassuring, and it just helps the grind.
No,
So
exactly.
those are my main ones. I'd say, I really do like the bigger artists. Like, Morgan Wallen. I like. I do go back. Merle Haggard and Randy Travis. But I would say that the more modern guys, as I just listed, are probably my biggest inspiration.
Yeah.
Definitely. Tyler
No, and
Childers,
that's
Zach Bryan.
no, and that's awesome.
Zach Bryan currently.
Yeah,
He
no,
is
I
he is
mean,
he's my man.
if you don't like say Zach Bryan at this point, like on any interview that I do, even if you're not in country, like it's crazy not to even mention that man just because of what he's doing right now in the music business. And it's always so cool just to talk about Luke Combs and Morgan Wallen, and then even just to reminisce on some of those other guys like Travis Tritt, Garth Brooks, and just people like that that were just are amazing lyric, just amazing people that can just write a song and just tell a great story. Because a lot of people don't know, is just
For
fun
sure.
fact about Luke Combs real quick, is the song was it's Lee Brice and Carly Pierce, I Hope You're Happy Now. That was actually Luke Bryan's first song that hit #1 as just a songwriter, because he didn't actually record that for himself. And it's just always cool just to see how people write and just their creative process behind everything, because it's just so unique for every single different artist. And that kind of leads into the third question, is the creative process and when it comes to writing a song. Because at the end of the day, I know a lot of songs that I have written over the years come from emotions and stuff that's going on in my life. Back in 2018, I lost my grandfather unexpectedly, and a lot of people know that by now and have heard that song Back to When. Shout out to my brother Nathan Vasquez for recording that. And it's just the songwriting process is just so crazy, because you can write a song in 2 hours like I did with Back to When, and then sometimes it takes weeks on weeks and months to really get a whole song like fully written and produced and stuff like that. So my kind of question is when it comes to songwriting, what is your creative process like?
Yeah. Okay. So my creative process. Well, I actually take a lot of inspiration from Billie Eilish and her. She talks about how I got on a kick from her because I went to ACL and she was just an amazing performer. And I kind of just watched a bunch of YouTube videos and I ended up really liking her. But anyway, her family when they were growing up, um, they were all musicians. So they when they had like a bedtime or whatever, they would have to um, go to bed, of course. But if they ever had any creative like spur of the moment, they were allowed to stay up and play their music or write whatever the heck
Oh,
the spur was. So that's kind of mine. Whenever I feel it, I I just start. I just go. If it's 2 a.m., it's usually around 2 a.m. when I'm most inspired. But that's I just kind of just roll off of how I feel because that's for me, music is just emotion. If you ask me, it's just all about putting your emotions on paper. And then, I mean, during a product, during like producing, you're just making it even more complicated and expressing it further. So I do a lot of spur of the moment writing. And if I don't feel like writing that day, I won't write that day. And if I am writing, I like to tap into kind of like visual things that I see maybe throughout growing up or what's going on in my life. I do a lot of like similes with those things. So uh, I do it alone as well.
yeah.
I don't, I don't like necessarily writing with a bunch of people or anyone because um, it's not like me. And at the stage that I'm in right now, I don't really need someone saying like, actually, I wrote half that song. I wrote a quarter of that song. So later in life, I'm obviously going to be writing with others, but
Yeah.
right now, that's kind of my process.
No, that's awesome. And like that just really is going to end up leading into the fourth question. But it's just, you know who you kind of are right now. And you're just like, hey, like, listen, this is how I'm writing. Like, I want to write by myself. And that's just what I feel comfortable with doing. And that's awesome, because then eventually that'll open doors where they'll be like, oh, hey, like, I really like what you're doing by yourself. But what if we bring some other ideas into the room? And then eventually you'll start co-writing. Soon you'll be doing all kinds of crazy things, because
Definitely.
that's how it started. I just because your story is kind of similar to mine, is just that's how it started for me. I was writing by myself, and then eventually started reaching out to people, and people started reaching out to me. And now 5 years later, it's just crazy what I'm kind of doing with my music and stuff like that. Like, I never thought that any of this would even be possible. And it's always just cool to hear people's creative process, because I shout him out on every episode now. But shout out to Garrett Walker, is just a great quote that he always says, and I say it every episode now. But songwriting's like a puzzle, whether you have 500 or 1,000 pieces, and you're just sitting there with all these pieces scrambled on the table, and you're trying to slowly put like the border together, and then you're slowly working towards the middle, and you're trying to see what pieces fit where, and then by the end you have this whole picture, you have this whole productive masterpiece that you can hang up on your wall and that you can just cherish and really develop into something. So just always a great quote when it comes to the creative process that he shared with me on the interview. And just again, shout out to Garrett Walker. If y'all haven't heard him, go check out his music. Super, super talented. But getting back to Eric here, the fourth question is always the hardest question that I ask. And at the end of the day, I always tell artists there's no wrong or right answers to this, because some people are still developing their craft and still developing their artistry and who they are as an artist. And there's hundreds and hundreds of artists out there, whether it's on Instagram, TikTok, just trying to promote their music and really trying to make a name for themselves. So at the end of the day, just what is really something that you think makes you stand out from all these other artists?
First of all, I like that quote. Thanks, Garrett. That's pretty cool. Standing up from other artists. I would say, based off of what people say about me, probably the passion side, and like I said about what I like in music, like when Chris Young or Luke Combs or Zach Bryan, they all have just like raw passion in their performances. They may have it in their songwriting and their recordings, but if they're like on a stage, you can kind of just see their passion. So that's what I think stands out. I mean, I don't like to talk about myself usually, but I do acknowledge that I like to put effort and heart into what I do and what I sing.
Yeah.
So
no, and that's awesome. Just because at the end of the day, like, I mean, I've only been doing this for 5 years, the whole songwriting and producing thing. And then only 2 years I've been doing this interview series. And it's just crazy how much it's developed me, because when I was in high school back in, oh geez, I don't actually know what, we're not going to get into dates because that's just too long ago at this point. But back when I was in high school, like I was a super shy kid, and that's just how I was. And then just really developing into this series has really gotten me to be more talkative and be a people person now, because I was never like that when I was a kid. And it's just crazy, because that's like kind of my answer to that question, is just it's really helped me develop into a people person, and that's who I am, and that's what I'm trying to do, is just talk with people about their story through music, share my story through music, and just making those connections in the music business, because that's just really, really powerful.
awesome.
Kind of getting into the last and fifth question is, what are your goals as an artist? Like, where do you want to go with your music, and just what else can we kind of expect down the road from you? Because I mean, when I found you on TikTok, like I was seeing a lot of your covers, and like I'm definitely a big fan. So like I just can't wait to hear some music, have you have it out on streaming platforms and stuff like that. I'm assuming you probably have some stuff in the works eventually, but like what else can we expect from you?
So the whole word artist actually has been an interesting word to me. Like, what makes an artist? Like, if you have, because I have music, and I've been writing for probably around 7 months now. So I've always like, what do I define myself? Am I an artist? I like to think that if you have it out there and people can listen to it, that makes you an artist. But I know it's probably not true. But I do plan on recording this year, and I don't have anything out right now, just TikTok. I don't have any originals out there. I've been really kind of like, I don't want to put stuff out there and have something go wrong. And so I'm just kind of making sure it's perfect, and I'm just gonna keep doing that. What was the question again?
No, just like what your no, it's all good. Just like kind of like what
goals,
your goal,
right?
yeah, what your goals are, and
Goals.
just
Got it.
obviously you're writing music and stuff like that. So obviously we know that you're gonna eventually be releasing some stuff down the road. But what are some of your real goals as an artist? Like, where do you want to go with your music?
Yeah, the goals part. So I'm pretty good at like setting small goals. At first I wanted to get into bars. I mean, I'm in bars now. My next like goal is to get into bigger bars with a band. So that's kind of my goal. I've been working on it for the past couple months now. And long term, definitely there's a bar here, and I don't know if it's considered a bar. I think it's like a performance place too, but it's basically called the Saxon Pub, and that's kind of like my goal because Parker McCollum played there.
Okay.
So I want to play on the same stage as Parker, and then eventually just be as big as them. It's kind of far fetched, but
Yeah.
I do want my music, out there so people can listen to it, and it's kind of like a surreal thing, just even people listening to it now. So I can't imagine how it'll be in the next couple of years, and that's the goal. I just gotta keep grinding and
No, exactly.
just
I
see where
mean,
it goes.
no, exactly. And that's what it's all about, because obviously a lot of people know from my friends and family and fans and stuff, I'm a big sports person. I'm a big hockey guy. So big quote I always live by is that you miss 100% of the shots that you don't take. So you just got to keep grinding. You got to keep taking those shots, because you never know what's going to happen. You never know where those opportunities are going to lead. So at the end of the day, like I said, man, I mean, when I found you on TikTok, I'm definitely a big fan of you. I can't wait to hear more stuff from you and just have your stuff be out, because I know back in, when was it? Was it 2019? I think, when me and shout out to Alexa Mashka, when we released our first ever song. I just know that feeling when it comes to releasing that first ever song and having it be out everywhere, and like having people that I've never even heard of listening to my song. So like, it's crazy. And I just know once that moment comes for you, it's going to be really surreal and really special.
Yeah. I look forward to it. It's going to be the best feeling ever. Even if nothing happens to it, I just want to get it out there so people can choose to listen. Because there's so many people in my life that are like wanting to listen. And I think I bring up Zach Bryan in this scenario because he's the guy that like wrote these songs for years in a shed.
Yep.
And the most important thing that he did was put his music out there, because there's so many people that claim to be good writers and claim to be good singers, but if you don't put it out there, then you're just another guy who writes songs. So he was really good at making it out, putting it out there, and eventually being who he is, which is a huge indie country guy. So it's awesome.
No, exactly. So that kind of concludes all the questions I had for you today. And that leads into hearing a song by you, as long as you're still good with doing all that.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So yeah, I mean, I'm gonna kind of put myself on mute. I'll let you kind of take the floor, talk about whatever song you're gonna do, and then the floor is yours, man. So I will let you do that, and we can hear some music by you, because that's always my favorite part of the interview.
Awesome. Thank you, sir.
No,
I will be. All right. So this is a song I wrote probably within the last month. It's called 20 and 22. Wrote it for a very special woman in my life. She'd probably be mad if I didn't say she's my girlfriend. She's my girlfriend. So this is 20 and 22. It's basically about when you're in your early 20s, or I mean, even in your late 20s or whatever, there's still so much life that you have to experience. So keep in mind, I just woke up like an hour ago, 2 hours ago, so my voice may not be the best, but here we go. 2022. Hard to find what I can't see anymore. Hard to see that it's worth getting off the floor. But I can tell by the vodka on your breath. Butterflies telling me I'm not done yet. Terrified how we've gotten so damn close. Feeding my addictions, feeding up my pulse. Stuck shaking, thinking about what we could hold. Yeah, darling, I'm scared to death. The last one was a mess. Don't think I'm ready yet, but I wanna see this one through. I know you feel the same way that I do. You gotta get over these trust issues. There's more to life than being 20 and 22. Feeling buzzed, but I haven't even had a sip. Got a foggy mind around you, honey, you're a trip. The world turns a blur when I see your face. I get dizzy just from your embrace. Even on a rough day, I know I've won. Didn't think 6th Street could be so much fun. Sober thoughts thinking maybe you're the one. But darling, I bite my tongue. Maybe I got a problem. We're just so young. But I wanna see this one through. I know you feel the same way that I do. We gotta get over these trust issues. 'Cause there's more to life than being 20 and 22. I get why we're afraid. There's room for more heartache. But what we have is what we wanted and more. Hard to find what I can't see anymore. Hard to see that it's worth getting off the floor. But I can tell by the vodka on your breath. Butterflies telling me I'm not done yet. Terrified how we've gotten so damn close. Beaten by addictions, beating at my pulse. Stuck shaking, thinking about what we could hold. Darling, I'm scared to death. The last one was a mess. Don't think I'm ready yet. But I wanna see this one through. I know you feel the same way that I do. Gotta get over these trust issues. 'Cause there's more to life than being 20 and 22. Yeah, there's more to life than being 20 and 22. That's it.
That is just, I mean, I just have to go on a quick little rant real quick before I just say thank you and all that. Like, I did an interview a couple weeks ago with these two sisters, Kelly and Kat, their duet, and we were just like talking, like, I mean, everyone on the show has been so unreal with their performances and stuff like that, but these last like 4 to 5 interviews that I've done, like, it's just like at this point, if you don't give me chills, you're not allowed on the show and your episode's not going to air. Like, that's just how good these, like, that's just how high like everyone's setting the bar right now for these interviews and stuff. And it's just truly unbelievable. Your songwriting, man, your voice is just the 10 out of 10 for everything.
Thank you, sir. Wow, that's really nice of you to say, man.
I mean,
I'm glad you liked
it. No, of course. I mean, I'm not even gonna lie. I think by the second chorus, I was already singing along to the whole song, and like that, just like that, like the drop that you do at the end of the verse, and then pop into that chorus. That just click is just like so cool, and I can't wait for that to get like fully produced up and get something in there, and like because that's just I was already jamming to it, and I just can't wait to hear that.
Dude, thank you. Yeah, that's a fun one.
No, of course.
I got a bunch more. So.
No, and trust me, I'm along for the ride with you. I know all my fans will be along for the ride with you, and just can't wait to see what else you're doing. But kind of before I do my little outro here, just where can we find you on social medias, just so people can look you up?
I'm on Instagram, just my name. It's at Eric.Bowden, and then TikTok, Eric.Bowden with 2 N's. And I mean, that's really all that I post music to. So that's really all that matters to me.
No, awesome. And that's what we're here all for. We're here for the music. So, I mean, definitely people go check him out. Super, super talented. As you just heard, that original is just unbelievable, and can't wait to hear more music from you, man. And just appreciate you taking time out of your day to do this interview and share your story through music.
I appreciate you having me. You're a great dude, man. This was like just a normal conversation. It was kind of fun.
No, exactly. And that's like, at the end of the day, that's just what I tell people. And that's what I pride myself on, is just having a conversation just between two people, sharing stories through music and just sharing their thoughts on music and what the whole industry is about. Because I've said it before, at the end of the day, just making those connections in the music business can really help you out and really open doors down the road that you never thought you would even find or that you could never even open. So
Yes,
it's
sir.
just, it's crazy. And I just, again, thank you so much for taking the time to do this.
Thank you for having me.
No, of course. So that kind of concludes another episode of the Spotlight series hosted by yours truly, ACK. Y'all know the drill. Every Sunday we got new artists. At this point, it's either chills or go home. So if you're not bringing a good song, if you're not bringing a good song to the table, then not sure what's gonna happen. But I just love sharing people's story through music, and I'll see y'all next week. Thanks for tuning in.